Have you ever made it to the end of a hard Mario stage only for the game to not register a jump input and you die to a Goomba? Or maybe you've tried multiple times to get past a hard section in Hollow Knight just to be rewarded with dying to a cheap jump? What about trying to get past the first level of insert action platformer title here, but never being able to because the skill gap and gateway to entry is just so darn high? If so, then maybe you agree with me. Platformers suck. Allow me to explain. I'm not saying that you can't enjoy them. Heck, I'm not even saying I don't enjoy playing them from time to time either. What I'm saying is the oversaturation of platformer and action platformer games out there is depriving the medium of any true innovation. I'm seeing so many difficult platformers like Mario, Sonic, Super Meat Boy, and countless others, but they have very similar necessary skills to complete them, like jumping and landing precisely. Kinda the whole point. Same with Metroidvanias like Hollow Knight, the Ori games, Axiom Verge, Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, and so many more. Don't get me started on roguelike platformers like Dead Cells. They're all the same. They require the same set of skills to complete, and they are all punishingly difficult if you don't train that specific skill. Why do we put up with these games? Sure, they're fun for tons of people, but what damage do they do to the industry? I propose quite a bit. These promote gaming for a specific kind of player. Maybe someone who played Castlevania Symphony of the Night 12 times in a row and got so good that they had to find more games like it. This means we get a lot of games that feel and play the exact same. This is great if you enjoy this type of game. But millions of people are not and will never be good enough to enjoy these games. You can say get good, but all of these people would rather just play something else after they die to a boss more than 10 times. These games suck you in with a deceptive simplicity and then require you to play like you have a doctorate in movement tech 30 seconds in. I'm sorry, but if I can't get more than a half hour into a game before getting roadblocked by bosses way more than my skill level should reasonably be at this point, I'm just not going to play it. I'm not crazy enough to spend that much time to practice my skills for just another 10 minutes of content before the next roadblock. Games should have a gradual increase in difficulty, not force the players to learn all the ins and outs of the mechanics a few minutes in. Usually, these games are masterclasses of level design, art direction, and fun gameplay loops, but the high level of skill needed to play these games just make them frustrating for anyone looking to have fun for a little while. The only game like this that I got a decent way into was a little game called The Messenger. It's a side-scrolling platformer in the same vein as Ninja Gaiden. There are more abilities and movement options that differentiate it, but it's similar enough. The big draw to this game was the time traveling section in the second half, where the game changes completely and you switch between two characters in different time periods. I would have loved to have seen it, but I never could get past the boss in the halfway point to experience this. Not for a lack of trying either. I tried for hours and hours, but I never could do it. I missed out on so many cool story beats and gameplay because I wasn't good enough. Now, this isn't to say that challenging games are bad or shouldn't be made, but the average action platformer enjoyer is leagues above anyone trying to get into the genre, and has no idea what a fair and balanced difficulty should be. It doesn't matter how amazing and cool the game is if you can't get into the cool parts. I know this is a bit of a stretch and sounds like I just want easier games, but it's more than that. The world needs more games that break the mold, not grow mold. I'm talking about the top-down shooter and combat genre. Not only do we have a severe lack of any games in this genre that fit the bill that I'm looking for, they're usually very niche, tactical games like Hotline Miami. No shade against it, but it's just that, niche. I still need to play it, so I'm speaking from others' experience on this one. Why don't we have more top-down combat-focused games like we have Metroidvanias? It's because no one has really played a good one that doesn't have ridiculous roguelike elements thrown in. Not one that's actually accessible anyways. Crosscode and Ruiner are just terrible, so I'm writing those off entirely. You might bring up Enter the Gungeon as one of the best in this genre, and I would say that's a good option, but it still has many problems in following the terrible roguelike and super hard difficulty trend. There's so much cool content in this game, but I'll never be able to experience it, since I'll never have the time to sink into it. And I don't like the idea of every time I play it's a sweaty mess trying to stay alive. Also, co-op is handled terribly, where the second player only gets a dart gun and can't get any new guns or upgrades. It should have been up to 4 players co-op, where each person could be one of the heroes. It seems like gatekeeping all the fun for a game I want to love, and I really did like it for about 30 minutes. After a few hours, I was just frustrated with it and pretty much never played it again. Sure, it's got randomly generated levels, but restarting after every death just makes you replay basically what you've already done hundreds of times. I would much rather just continue through the game and feel like I'm progressing, but it forces you to play for tens of hours longer than you should have to in order to get cool weapons and learn how to play well enough to actually see the whole game. It's unnecessary padding like games from the 80s and 90s had. We just need more talented game devs making games like this. fun, accessible, and content-rich top-down shooters that break the mold and commonality that platformers bring to the table. Now, if you like Enter the Gungeon or games like it, more power to you. It's just not my jam, and it's not the jam of millions of other people out there who will never be good enough to experience this amazing game. That's why I'm making my own top-down shooter game. It won't be like Galaga or the plethora of bullet hell shooters, though. You'll play as a high-demand mercenary that gets jobs from many people. There's at least 2, but probably many more sides to the story, and you'll need to choose which one you agree with on a job-to-job basis. I've been working on it off and on for about 8 years. I've restarted the build of the game countless times, but I've also gradually added so many features that are slowly morphing into something fun and actually playable. I'm no artist, so I'm going to completely revamp that side of things, but I'm getting close to nailing the shooter feel to make the player feel awesome. This will be a game like no other, with a story that is literally your own actions and failures in the game. If you fail a mission, it's over. Deal with the consequences. If you die, obviously, you can repeat missions, but there will be many different ways to fail objectives. As a mercenary, it will be up to you to keep enough money flowing to keep stocked on equipment and also do what you feel is right for you. A balanced and potentially auto-adjustable difficulty should make it fun and accessible for everyone, but we'll see when we get to playtesting. Maybe both options will be available. Maybe all you got from this video was a different perspective, even if it doesn't change your mind about the state of platformers and the overabundance of them. Or maybe you are like me and struggle to play Hollow Knight or even beat a boss in Super Mario Bros. and think the world needs a change. We've had the same kind of platformers for over 30 years. Isn't it time for another genre to take a crack at being the most used 2D video game perspective? I think so. If you hated my points, let me know why in a comment below. I'm always open to discussion or changing my views if they're wrong. If you're interested in my game or agree with any of my examples, like the video and subscribe. If you have any top-down shooter games to recommend, let me know those as well. I'm always looking for more inspiration. I might post more stuff about the game or this topic in the future. I make videos sporadically and just for fun, but I hope you stop by again to see what else I have. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day.